morning, good morning. Let's put those blessed hands together for the awesome, wonderful, awe-inspiring, graceful, wonderful God that we serve on this morning. Amen. We are gathered here today not for ourselves, but for the Lord that we serve. I want to say good morning to those who have gathered in the New Pilgrimage Baptist Church, and also good morning to you who are viewing us via Facebook. It is a good Sunday morning. Amen. All right. I don't know about you, but I'm happy to be in the house of the Lord this morning. I'm happy to be able to worship God on this morning. I'm happy that He woke me up this morning, y'all. I'm just happy because He didn't have to do it, but He did. Amen. Come on, Chad, give us a good number. Amen. If you're happy and you know it, clap your hands. Praise the Lord, everybody. Let's give God some praise in this place. Truly, He is worthy. Truly, He is mighty. This is the day that the Lord has made. Let us rejoice and be glad in it. Come on, let's go with it. This is the day. This is the day that the Lord has made. Say that come on, sing with me. I will rejoice. I will rejoice and be glad in it. And be glad in it. Oh, this is the day that the Lord has made. I will rejoice and be glad in it. Oh, this is the day. This is the day that the Lord has made. Come on and say with me. This is the day. Oh, this is the day that the Lord has made. That the Lord has made. I will rejoice. I made up my mind. I'll rejoice and be glad in it. Oh. Told me to run on. Yes, told me to run on, heal my body. Told me to run on, he's my friend. Oh, can't nobody do me like Jesus. That's it. Can't nobody do me like Jesus. Oh, can't nobody do me like Jesus. Can't nobody do me like Jesus. They said nobody, 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 said nobody. Nobody can keep you. Nobody can hold you. Nobody can watch you. Say nobody. Big ones, come on. Say nobody. Say nobody. Nobody. Yes, sir. Nobody. Say nobody. Do me like Jesus. Ain't nobody. Do me like the Lord. Ain't nobody. Hey, do me like Jesus. He's mine. If he's your friend, come on and give him praise. If you know him, if he's closer than close, give him a praise. Hallelujah. Hallelujah. Yes, sir. Amen, amen. Thank you, Chad. Thank you so much. Amen. Let us go to the Lord in prayer. Dear Lord, gracious God our Father, thank you for being our friend, Lord. Because can't nobody do you like that. Can't nobody treat us like you can. Can't nobody love us like you can. Can't nobody treat us like you, Father. Father, we're so grateful that you're not only our God, but you are our friend, Father. Father, how you love us, how you encourage us when we're down, Father. How you send your Holy Spirit to come alongside us and comfort us in our distresses, Father. Father, how you provide for us in our moments of need, Father. Father, how you build bridges in our times of trouble. Father, thank you, Father, for being our God and our friend and our comfort and our provider and our protector, Father. Father, we come to you lifting up this country in prayer, Father. We lift you, we want you to bless this country in our time of pandemic, Father. Father, bless this country in our time of division, Father. Father, bless this country in our time of governmental distress, Father. Father, just bless this country, Father. Father, it is in shambles, Father. It is in bad shape, Father. But Father, you're still on the throne. You're still in control. You still know what to do. You still have the answers to our problems, Father. So, Father, we leave this problem in your hands, Father. Father, as we prepare to worship you and preaching, Father, we ask that you lift up our pastor, Father. Father, give him what he needs right now to preach your word, Father. Father, give him the enthusiasm as he stands at this sacred desk, Father, to proclaim your holy writ, Father. Father, when he is finished preaching, Father, I pray that the lives that hear this word, Father, I pray that they are changed for the better. I pray that chains are broken, Father. I pray that whoever is discouraged, Father, is lifted up, Father. I pray that whoever is in bondage is free, Father. I pray that someone who doesn't know you and pardon of the sin, Father, I pray that they come running, what must I do to be saved, Father? Father, I pray that it is changed, Father, because of the preaching of your word, Father. May it go forth and not come back forth, Father. In Jesus' name we pray this prayer. Amen. Father, Chad, please give us another song. Amen. We really love the Lord this morning. We're just going to be one big choir. I miss the choir up here. So through masks and everything, over the Zoom and over the Facebook and everything, let's give God a praise together. Amen. Amen. Let's sing a song together. Jesus, I love you. Yeah, God, because you care, yeah. I couldn't imagine, Lord, if you weren't there. Oh, Jesus, I love you. Oh God, because you care. I couldn't imagine, no, if you weren't there. Lord Jesus, I love you because you care. Oh, I couldn't imagine, yes, if you weren't there. Come on and sing to him, hey. Jesus, I love you, I love you. Come on, say it. Jesus, I love you, I love you. Hey, Jesus, I love you, I love you. Because he cares, because you care. I dare you to lift a hand and say, I'll praise you. Come on. Jesus, I'll praise you, I praise you. Because he's worthy. Jesus, I'll praise you, I praise you. He's deserving of it. Come on. Jesus, I'll praise you, I praise you. Because you care, because you care. Anybody thankful this morning? Come on and say it. Jesus, I thank you, I thank you. You kept my family. Jesus, I thank you, I thank you. Bills are still being paid. Jesus, I thank you, I thank you. Because you care, come on. Because you care. I dare you to say, Lord, you are worthy. Come on. Lord, you are worthy, you're worthy. Come on and say it to him. Lord, you are worthy, you're worthy. Yes, Lord. Hey. Lord, you are worthy, you're worthy. Hey. And we can go to the one. Oh, Lord, I love you. I love you. I love you more today. Oh, because you care for me in such a special way. That's why I praise you. I lift you up and I magnify your name. Oh, that's why my heart is filled with praise. Come on and sing where you are. Sing my heart, my mind, my soul. It belongs to you. You paid the price for me. He shed his blood way back from Calvary. And that's why I praise you. I lift you up, hey. I magnify your great name. Oh, that's why my heart is filled with praise. Hey. So Jesus, I love you. Yeah, God. Because you care. I couldn't imagine, yeah, if you weren't there. One more time, music. Let's sing this together. Sing, Jesus, I love you. Yeah. Because you care. Oh God, I couldn't imagine. Oh, I don't want to imagine, no, if you weren't there. One more time, Jesus, I love you. Yeah, because you care. Oh, I couldn't imagine. Yeah, God. Bless the name of the Lord. He's worthy to be praised. Amen. I almost went in on that one. I must be honest, I almost went in on that one. Where would I be if it had not been hard to go back down memory lane and not get excited. Amen. To be overwhelmed about the goodness of the Lord and all that He's done for you. Amen. That's why it's almost impossible to think about the goodness of God and not think after you think. Amen. When I think about the goodness of the Lord, my soul cries out and magnifies the Lord. Amen. Thank you, Brother Chad, for that. Amen. This is a grand and great day. And we praise God for this day. Amen. He's worthy to be praised. Amen. Amen. We're not going to hold you unnecessarily too long. To our listening audience and to those who are assembled here on this morning. It's just a tremendous blessing to be back in the house of praise and prayer just one more time. Amen. And when I think about what the Lord has brought us from, my soul cries out. Amen. So I'm excited about this day. This is a Sunday that we've never seen before. Yeah. This is not like any other Sunday. Amen. This is a brand new Sunday. A Sunday that we have never experienced in our lives. And so we just give God praise for that. But that is a word. There's a rich, royal, regal, revealing word begging to be preached. It is couch chronicled and cataloged in Psalms 4. Psalms 4. David says, "Hear me when I call, O God, my righteousness. Thou hast enlarged me when I was in distress. Have mercy upon me and hear my prayer. O ye sons of men, how long will ye turn my glory into shame? How long will you love vanity and seek after leasing? But know that the Lord has set apart him that is godly for himself. The Lord will hear when I call unto him. Stand in awe and sin not, commune with your own heart upon your bed, and be still. Selah. Offer the sacrifices of righteousness and put your trust. And put your trust. In the Lord. There be many that say, who will show us any good? Lord, lift thou up thy light of thy countenance upon us. Thou hast put gladness in my heart. More than in the time that their corn and their wine increased. I will both lay me down in peace and sleep. For thou, Lord, only maketh me to dwell in safety. Ooh, this is a powerful passage. It's a powerful passage. Turn to the person next to you. Don't have to touch them, you don't have to shake hands with them. You just look at them, look their way. Tell the neighbor, with God's help and our prayer, Pastor is going to preach about unflinching trust in uncertain times. Unflinching trust in uncertain times. In the world of trapeze, acrobats, there are two acrobats that are over 100 feet in the air. One is called the flyer, and the other one is called the catcher. I was amazed and in awe when I went to my first circus. I was able to see see this act, this performance in person. Can you imagine being the flyer? Yeah. And in a rotation motion over and over and over. And when you come out of your last spin, you see the catcher. I don't know about you, but I want to grab hold to the catcher. I don't care if it was his shirt, his tie, his hair, his hand, his arm, his foot. I want to grab hold to the catcher. But the flyer is trained not to depend on his impulse. He's trained to depend and trust in the catcher. Documentary was aired, and they interviewed a trapeze artist, and he said the most important part for the flyer is to trust his catcher. In fact, it is not the catcher who reaches out to the flyer. The flyer has to relax and depend and trust the catcher. I've watched this act over and over and over. It's death-defying, and yet it amuses and excites the one who's watching. The trapeze artist is up in the air. Sometimes they do it with the net and sometimes without the net. But the whole theory is you have to trust the catcher. And like so in Christianity, we are the flyer, and God is the catcher. Your landing depends on you trusting the catcher. In fact, it does not matter how high you are, how many turns you make and flips you do in the air. It depends on ultimately if you're going to trust the catcher. And isn't it true that God is a great catcher? Can't you think about all the times that you stumbled and almost failed, and right before you failed, God caught you? God is an amazing catcher, but you gotta trust him. You gotta trust him. And when you think about unflinching trust, when you think about unflinching, it carries the idea to tense the muscles in anticipation of discomfort coming your way. That's what a flinch is. You don't flinch because you really want to. You flinch in anticipation of what's coming. Come on, help me preach this. Nobody just sits up and just flinch to be flinching. Amen. We flinch sometimes when we anticipate uncomfort and harm coming our way. But when we trust God, we have unflinching trust in uncertain times. These are certainly uncertain times in which we live. We have gone through some rough times ever since March. We have been involved in unprecedented times. Coronavirus, pandemic. We've seen stores closed, businesses closed down. And I was just watching the news the other day, 41% of black businesses closed during this pandemic. 41% of black businesses closed during this pandemic. But God is still in control. That's what you can't miss. God is still in control. And so when I read this psalm, this psalm of David, it arrested my attention, Reverend Cone, because it speaks to our current state of affairs. It speaks to us because when we're going through difficult times, that's when we want to trust God all the more. I looked at this psalm. I looked at this psalm of David here in verse 4. Notice it starts off at the very heading talking about the chief musician on Neganoth. Neganoth is an instrument, string instruments like a harp. It suggests that this song has to have music with it. It says chief musician, the one in charge, the one who leads the worship. Watch this, because we talked about a lead musician. When you look at Habakkuk 3:19, it talks about the lead musician. All right. It is the lead musician who gets us ready for the worship. It is the lead musician who the Bible says here is at the thought process of why David says what he says. Watch this, because David said, watch this, he says, hear me when I call. Hear me when I call. Oh God, my righteousness. Thou hast enlarged me when I was in distress. The David says, have mercy upon me and hear my prayer. Doesn't that sound like some of us? Have mercy upon me. Hear my prayer. You have enlarged my territory. Now watch this, because David clearly shows us how we should approach God. Watch this now, because David gives us, first of all, that in his petition to God, under petition, he first gives us some guidelines. He gives us the guidelines. He says, if you're going to trust him, you got to first ask him to hear. He first, if you're going to trust him, you got to first ask him to hear. So we got to have some guidelines. Guidelines help us to stay on the straight and narrow path of communicating with God. But then not only do we need some guidelines, we also need some grounds to go to God. Now watch the ground that he makes his petition. He said, watch this now. He said, here is the ground. He said, oh God, my righteousness. In other words, you are the chief of righteousness. You are the sole righteous one. And I appeal to you based upon your righteousness. Have I got a witness here? But now watch this now. Watch this now, because not only do we have guidelines and grounds, but you ought to have a goal. David says, my guideline is that I want God to hear me. And my grounds upon him hearing me is his righteousness. But then my goal is based upon him delivering me from my distress. I'm in distress and I need God to deliver me. Watch David, because in his plea to God, in his plea to God, that there are some provisions that God gives him from the plea. Now watch this now, because he says, you have enlarged me. It's a military term which suggests that an army was in a soldier or army was in a tight spot, narrow place, under duress, and God came in and enlarged that territory. Have you been in some tight places in your life? Have you been in some tight spots where you didn't know what you were going to do next? I mean, have you been in some tight spots where you wondered if you were going to make it? Have you been in some tight spots where you questioned whether or not you were still able to trust God through the pandemic? I mean, tight places. Have you been in the unemployment line? Have you lost some things during this pandemic that caused you to question even your loyalty to God? Have you been in some tight places? Yeah, God says here that David, I've enlarged his territory. Now notice the text is dealing with his son Absalom again. David here is making a plea to God because of his son Absalom, who had betrayed him, or who went against him, his own flesh and blood. But now notice what David says here. Notice David says his petition, but his petition is because he got some problems. The problems are found in verse number 2. Watch this. Don't y'all go sleep on me. He said, "O ye sons of men, how long will ye turn my glory into shame?" In other words, now watch this, because, thank you, Holy Spirit. Now notice David talks to God before he talks to his opponents. His adversary. Now here's a good lesson. Before you try to deal with your adversaries, make sure you talk with God. And in fact, David talks about his opponents through verses 1 through 5, and then he gets to verse 6, it's all about him and God. David here says, "O ye sons of men, how long will you turn my glory into shame?" And in other words, he's talking about Absalom men who have tasted defeat. You know, Absalom was killed, and those who were following him, he said, how long will you turn my glory into shame? How long will you follow after those who always end up on the wrong side of the track? He says, watch this now, because he inserts the word Selah. Selah means to take a pause. In other words, a pause is needed when you ask the question, how long will you turn my glory into shame? How long will ye love vanity and seek after leasing? Now, leasing is an old Saxon word that means falsehood. In other words, how long will you run after falsehood? How long will you spend time tracing and trying to track falsehood? How long will you allow yourself to seek out vanity? Vanity that winds up being nothing. Solomon, vanity, all this vanity that ends up being absolutely nothing. Says to Absalom, man, how long will you seek out the falsehood? It's a falsehood to believe, to think that God is not in control. That's a falsehood. It's a falsehood to think that this coronavirus, this pandemic we're going through, that God cannot control. That's a falsehood. God has not lost his power to control anything. He's still on the throne, and he still can control anything that he wants to control. So listen, let me poll the sanctuary this morning, because some of y'all look worried. Some of y'all look weary. My question is, why worry when you can worship? Why worry when you can worship? Why worry when you can worship and not be weak and weary and worn out? Just worship God. Don't worry about the current situation. Let me just say, worry don't solve a thing. Can I say it again? Worry don't solve a thing. Now, can I just pull over that? Jesus helps us with worry. Because in Matthew chapter 6, verse 25, Jesus helps us with worry. In fact, he gives us 4 reasons why we should not worry. And the first reason is worry is unreasonable. It's unreasonable to sit up and worry. Did I tell you that worry is a control instrument? Worry is trying to control that's uncontrollable. You see, we can't control the economy, so we worry about it. When is our next stimulus check? We worry when Congress and the Senate don't get together. We worry about things that we cannot control. Can't control our children, so we worry about it. We can't control the weather, so we worry about the weather. We spend time worrying about things that we cannot control. Now listen, it just makes sense that if you can change some things, then why worry about it? I'm going to say it again. If you can change some things, then why worry about it? All right, you need an example. I'm glad you asked me that. You've been in a relationship that's been sinking ever since you've been in it. And you keep worrying how you can keep it afloat. Well, the most clearest thing that I know is that's something you can change. You don't need to sit up and worry about how you're going to make it and how you're going to get through it. Just change partners in the relationship. There's some things we can control. We can change. Amen. And Scripture tells us that if we trust the Lord, come on here, trust in the Lord with all our heart and lean not to our own understanding. But in all our ways acknowledge Him, and He shall direct your path. There's just some things that we can, and it just don't make sense to sit up and worry. Don't worry about your enemies. Fret not. It's evil too. They'll soon be cut down and with things that you know won't change. Why worry about it? Now watch this, because Jesus says in Matthew 6 verse 25. Watch this. He says, number 1, worry is unnecessary. Now the next verse, he talks about the birds. And so he talks about the birds who need not worry. They don't have no barn where to store food. And in other words, worrying is unnatural. He didn't create us to worry. In fact, everything God created don't worry but man. Man is the only thing that God created that sits up and worry. Have you ever seen a bird sitting on a wire worrying? I mean, just flapping one wing. Everything God has created depends on Him. Trust Him for their well-being. Have a lot of witnesses here. Now notice verse 30 in Matthew 6. Now, really, wearing is not only unnecessary. Not only is wearing unnecessary, wearing is not good. We worry about some of everything but what we should worry about. Yeah, and worry is unhelpful. It don't help you to worry. He says, you know, worry ain't gonna change. Have you ever took a problem just sit there and just worry about it? Did it change it at all? Worrying does not change the problem. It changes the person who's worried about the problem. It changes you because you got high blood pressure. You're stressed out. Stress is a silent killer. Stress is a silent killer. And so we have to trust God in these uncertain times so he can bring us through these uncertain times. Now, it may be uncertain to us, but it is not uncertain to God. God knew when the pandemic was going to hit. God knew how long and how many. The number, we're shocked by the number of people who has died from the corona. It doesn't shock. God already knew. Because he knows all of the knows. So David here said, let me, because y'all, I know the Cowboy play. David says, in my distress. In my distress. Now watch this. Verse 3 is here. Verse 3 is here. Now watch this. We got the petition from David. Then we got the problems that he's petitioning God for because of the reproaches of those men who are coming up against him. But now watch verse 3. Verse 3 says, but know that the Lord has set apart that is godly for himself. The Lord will hear when I call him. Now watch the unflinching trust. David here says, but I know something. But know that the Lord has said. Now watch this, because verse 3 is talking about a covenant relationship. In fact, the big idea of this passage is that God never does business without a contract or covenant that translate, when you trust him, into mercy and blessings. That's what this text is about. He's a covenant keeper. Oh, watch what David says here. David says he has set apart that who is godly for himself. The Lord will hear when I call him. In other words, God hears the prayers of the righteous. The prayers of the righteous prevail. But if you're righteous, then why are you worried? Why won't you trust God? In dark and dismal. That's what he's for. But you trust him when you can't see your way through. David says, I'm in covenant relationship with God. In other words, because of my covenant relationship with him, because he has called me into this covenant relationship, he has to hear me when I call. Because of the covenant relationship that we have with God. And watch this. David just said, watch this. Now, he teaches us something here about us sitting up worried about our enemies. He says in verse 4, watch this now. He says, stand in awe and sin not. Commune with your own heart upon your bed and be still. Selah. David literally says, he said, lay up on your bed and communicate. Commune with God and think about the goodness of God and how God has brought you through so many dangers, toils, and snares. And he said, listen, don't be worried about trying to get back at those who wronged you. Oh, it's right here in the text. I'm not making it up. He said, don't worry about those people who have wronged you. Quit worrying about is God going to get them back. He said, be still. Yeah. Be still. Quit being antsy. Be still. Yeah, be still and know that He is God. Quit trying to figure a way how to get Him back. Yeah, He said, lay up on your bed at night and meditate. Now, let me just throw this in parenthetically, and I'm going to wait and see. I got about 4 minutes. Now, notice Psalm 4. Psalm 4 is called a night song because of verse 8. But then chapter 3, Psalm 3 comes before Psalm 4. Psalm 3 verse 5 says, when I woke up in the morning. Psalm 3 is talked about being a morning song. He said, the same God that watched over me last night. It's right here. I'm not. He said, verse 5, I laid me down and slept. I awake, for the Lord sustained me. It's in verse 5 of Psalm 3. He said, the same God that I trusted at night allowed me to go to sleep. He said He sustained me. I didn't have to stay with, I had to sleep with one eye open. Because I trust in God. I trust in God, so I don't have to sleep with one eye open. And so watch this now, because the verse 5, he said, offer the sacrifice, says, of righteousness, and put your trust in the Lord. Sacrifice, watch this now, sacrifice, watch this, offer sacrifices of righteousness. Watch this now. And put your trust. You can't offer sacrifices of righteousness unless you are righteous yourself. Can't be mean, cantankerous, and wicked and then offer. He says offer sacrifices of righteousness. Notice what he's saying. Notice what he's saying. He said, verse 6 says, watch, he's talking to Absalom. He said, there be many that say, who will show us any good? And David said, you got to learn how to pray for your enemies. You see, in verse number 6, David trusts God so much, Anthony, that he's able to move into reconciliation. It's right here. He says, there be many that say, Lord, show us. Can God show us any good? And David lifted up. He said, David is praying. He said, lift up the light of thy countenance upon us. Not only me, but upon them who's against me. It reminds us of Jesus, a sermon on the mount, Matthew 5. So pray for you. Pray for them who despitefully. It's right here. David said, watch this. David says, we need a prescription. All right. David talks about the petition. He talks about the problem. But then notice David gives a prescription. And a prescription won't do you no good unless you get it filled. Doctors can write, of course some of y'all look at me now and know you had a prescription. Doctors can write you a prescription for every ailment. But he don't go home with you. He don't go to the pharmacist with you to make sure that you get it filled. Oh, come on, talk. So David's prescription here, watch this, it's in verse 4. He said, listen, he said, the trembling. He said, listen, don't be trembling at the thought of what men can do to you. And then he said, says, watch this. He said, do some thinking toward God, so God can deliver you. Now watch this now, because he says you ought to make a tribute to God, verse 5a. And then he says you ought to trust God, verse 5b. He said you ought to trust God even when it don't look like things are on your side. Well, let me get out of here. I got 2 more minutes left. Let me just, y'all hung up on me. I know that I can't go this. Watch the text. Yes. David literally said, if you want to have peace with God, so you got to learn how to trust him. Watch this now. He says, verse number 7, he said, thou hast put gladness in my heart. Thou hast put gladness in my heart. More than in the time that their corn and their wine increased. In other words, while they were depending on the harvest, I was depending on you. And you have put more gladness in my heart than the harvest that took in the corn and wine. God knows how to give us gladness when there's gloom all around us. David says, I trust him because I've seen him work in time past. I trust him because I learned how to follow his resume. I trust him because I know how to trust him because he has a good track record. And those of us that know anything about God's track record, we ought to be trusting him. We ought to have unflinching trust in these uncertain times. David said, because I trust God, because I have learned how to depend on God, because I have learned how to leave it in God's hands. The psalmist says, I've learned how to trust God to take care of my enemies. I've learned how to trust God and not allow the temptation of focusing upon the wrongs of the past. I've learned how to trust God to give me joy in the midst of terrible times. David said, I've learned how to trust God because God is a mighty good working God. I've tried him in times past. And David says, I don't remember a time that he's ever let me down. You remember Psalms 37 said, I've been young and now I'm old. And I've never seen the righteous forsaken. Have I got a witness here? That's somebody who have walked with God. That's somebody who have trusted God. David said, I was young and now I'm old. And I've never seen the righteous forsaken, nor his seed begging for bread. That's because I trust God. I've learned how to lean on God. I've learned how to depend on God. I've learned how to leave it all in God's hand. Have I got a witness here? And the Bible said, because I've learned something, because I trusted God, he comes down to verse 8 and said, I will both lay me down in peace and in sleep. For thou, Lord, only making me to dwell in safety. And I got a witness here. David said, Lord, you have been there for me. And you have already supplied my every need. Have I got a witness here? David said, you have made ways out of no ways. Have I got a witness here? And not only have you garnished me some supply, but you got And I got a witness, and David said, I learned how to lay down at night. I learned how to get some sleep at night. I learned how to leave it all in his hand. And I got a witness here. One songwriter said, I put it all in his hand. This and that, I put it all in his hand. I want to ask you something before we sign off today. Have you put it all in his hand? I know you're going through a pandemic. I know you're going through a terrible time, but have you learned how to put it all in his hand? Have I got a witness here? Have you tried him in times past? And when you put it in his hand, he made a way out of no way. He worked it out for you. Put it all in his hand. You ought to tell somebody sitting next to you, turn around and point at the general, put it all in his hand. Get it out of your hand and put it all in his hand. And I got a witness. Miraculous things happened when the things that did in God's hand. And I got a witness here. 5,000 men beside women and children were sitting on the desert, and when he got through teaching to them, they were hungry, and there was a little boy. Jesus said, we got to feed. The disciples said, no, send him away. Jesus said, what do you have? Well, we got a little boy, 2 fish, and 5 loaves of bread. And I got a witness here. And one disciple said, what is this amongst so many? It don't look like much because it's still in the boy's hand. It was in his mama's hand. She fixed him a lunch before he left to go to the countryside. It left her hands and it got into the boy's hand. And when it get out of the boy's hand, it goes to the disciples' hand. And nothing will still happen. But I tell you, if you read that story, when it got into Jesus' hand, he started breaking bread. And I got a witness here. And the more bread he broke, and the more fish he broke, the more fish and bread showed up because it got into his hand. I tell you to put it all in his hand. Put it in his hand. I said, put it in his hand. Thank God we can put it in his hand. We don't have to stress out. We can put it in his hand. And Jesus tells us the best way to make it through is to put it in his hand. I thank God that Jesus showed us in an ocular demonstration how to put it all in his hand. He came down through 42 generations, walked the dusty streets of Jerusalem, went about doing good, gave sight to the blind, unstopped deaf ears, and all is doing good. There was some mean man that said crucify him. But I tell you, you gotta put it all in his hand. You'll always get back good when you do good, but you gotta put it in his hand. Put it in his hand. I said, put it in his hand. Jesus showed us you can put it in his hand. They took Jesus, the maximum Lamb of God, Mary, little baby, rocking a weary land, shelter in a storm, breathe over troubled water, Prince of Peace. And then they put him on a bald-headed hill called Calvary, and they nailed his hands and they ripped his feet. Thank God that he never gave up trust in his Father. I hear him saying, Father, into thy hands I commit my spirit. Laid his head and a lock on his shoulder and gave up the ghost and died on Calvary. Died on Calvary. Died on Calvary. Died on Calvary. But that wasn't a period. That was a comma there. Because of his trust in his Father. The third day he got up with all power, hit the dirt in his hand. If you want to get up, you got to put it in his hand. If you want to get through, you got to put it in his hand. If you want to get over, you got to put it in his hand. If you want to get around, you got to put it in his hand. If you want to come through, you got to put it in his hand. Anybody here want to put it in his hand? I don't care what it is, put it in his hand. It can be your wife, put it in his hand. It can be your husband, put it in his hand. It can be your child, put it in his hand. Your bank account, put it in his hand. In his hand, into your health, put it in his hand. Put it in his hand. I said, put it in his hand. I put it in his hand long time ago. I was sinking deep in sin, far from a peaceful shore. Great stains deep down within me, singing a high note said, I heard the voice of Jesus telling me, fight on, fight on, fight on, fight on. He promised. I said, he promised. He promised. I said, he promised never to leave me, never to leave me alone. You can fight when you can trust God. You can fight when you know you got good backup. You can fight when you know the battle's already won. You can fight when you got somebody who's bigger than the fight. Fight on. I said, fight on. Put it in his hand. Put it in his hand. Say yeah. Say yeah. Say yeah. Say yeah. Ain't he alright? I said, ain't he alright? Ain't he alright? I said, ain't he alright? I trust him, but I can't trace him. I trust him, but I can't see him. I want to trust him when it's dark in the night. Trust him, and in the morning, David told me to tell you, we've been making through all night, but joy will come in the morning. I don't know what your night is. Your night may be filled with anxiety. Your night might be filled with all kind of displeasure. Your night might be filled with bills stacking up against the walls. But I tell you, in the morning, if you trust in God and never doubt God, in the morning, He'll bring you joy. 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 He'll bring you joy. Unflinching trust in uncertain times. It amazes me how we can trust God to do what we want to do, but we can't trust Him enough to do what He requires us to do. Trusting God is not about your emotions. Trusting God has nothing to do with how you feel. It has everything to do with your dependence upon Him. We'll trust God to carry us 150 miles and won't trust Him to be with us 10 miles until the ocean. There's something wrong with that picture. There's something wrong with that picture. Because that's something we want to do. But when it comes to God, and we owe Him too much. We owe God too much. We owe God too much not to trust Him. Not to give Him our dependence. We owe Him just too much. We owe God just too much. Well, we owe Him because our name, when they flash it up on CNN, the lives that were lost. Your name wasn't in my name. None of our relatives. Name was in there. We owe Him. We owe Him too much. And we ought to reverence God enough to trust Him to bring us through difficult times. Amen. The door churches don't make me one. And in baptism, Christian Spirit, the door of the church is open. If you're here today, just to take him at his word, just to rest upon his promise, just to know what say the Lord. Jesus, Jesus, how I trust him, how I prove him more and more. Oh, Jesus, Jesus, precious Jesus. Oh, for grace to trust him more. I'm so glad I've learned to trust him. Precious Jesus, Savior and friend. Oh, and I know that he's with me. He will be with me till the very end. Jesus, Jesus, how I trust him, how I prove him more and more. Jesus, Jesus, my precious Jesus. Oh, for grace to trust him more. For grace to trust him more. For grace to trust him uncertain times that we are living in today, but we can have an unflinching trust in our Lord because he is our rock. We don't have to depend on the government. We don't have to depend on our jobs. We don't have to depend on the stimulus because we serve a God that is solid in unflinching times. Amen. In uncertain times. Amen. Let's give our pastor a hand. Amen. Now, we come to the part of service where it's one of my favorite times of serving, and it's time to give. Amen. Amen. I'm sorry. I'm going to take back that. It's time for communion. I'm so sorry. Amen. My deacons, let us prepare for our communion.